T4 Global is a missions organization based out of Lexington, Kentucky and Dallas, Texas. We work among the poorest of the poor with those who can't, won't, or don't read. And so in addition to the work we're doing in Kenya, we also have projects in Nigeria. We're working in Sudan. We've done work in some restricted access countries. We've worked in China, Nepal, India, Myanmar, and Bangladesh.
Yeah, in Kenya we have like 140 tribes. We have 22 tribes that are unreached with the gospel. And the main reason why some of these tribes are not reached is that they are in very, very, very difficult places. Some of them are nominal Muslims, which makes it hard for them to be reached. Some of them are so attached to their traditions and they resist any change, and as such they are unreached with the gospel.
Here in Kenya, we've been blessed to work with an organization called God's Grace for All Nations, or GGFAN. The general overseer of GGFAN, or as we lovingly refer to him as the Cardinal, is Simon Mwara. Pastor Simon is based in Nyahururu, Kenya.
I have been involved in trying to reach the unreached tribes in Kenya for the last 6 years. And I've gone to Samburu, to Turkana, to Borana, to Boni, along the coast. And one of the frustrations that I've really had is that when you present the message, many people would come to Christ, but it is so hard to disciple them because they don't read or write. And so we could have so many of them getting back to their old ways until we came across T4 Global and introduced to us orality. And with that, we have been able to take it to the Samburus. We use it to reach them, to evangelize to them. And we also use the same device to disciple them, which was very hard before then. So this is a new help in terms of reaching the people and discipling them.
I serve as the local church pastor of the Nyahururu God's Grace for All Nations. And I'm particularly excited of the good work our general overseer is doing, especially among the unreached people groups, the Samburu, and the whole T4 Global team. And may all glory go back to God.
This is an Adderall. This is what we give to our people in the field that will be doing the actual content development work. They take the Adderall here and record what will be heard later by the people whom we are trying to reach, and it will be heard on. This is our newest device. The way it works is it's recorded here on the Adderall, edited on a computer. After it is edited onto the computer, it is transferred over onto our device, so that the people groups that need to hear this message that they would only be able to get in this way since they can't read will come to them. And this is Pastor Wilfred speaking to the Samburu.
The best way probably to understand orality is how those who can't, won't, or don't read receive, remember, and pass on information to others. The way it was always done historically was through stories, through songs, through proverbs. There's the saying in Africa that if something is important, it gets its own song and it gets its own dance. The wonderful thing is that Scripture contains lots of stories, lots of proverbs. It has an entire book of nothing but songs. And so the Bible itself is geared towards reaching oral learners.
Yeah, when Christianity was brought to Africa, it looked like, and still looking like, Western foreign religion. And most of the things that were brought really didn't make sense to a typical African. Now, with orality, we are bringing home the message of the gospel to people within their own context, and we do it in a way that it makes sense right from their own heart. When the message is presented in people's heart language. People leave the venue satisfied, knowing and believing that God speaks in their own language and that God is within their culture and within their heart.
Okay, I'm saying the Samburu people don't have a radio station in their language. They don't have anything written in their language. They don't have even a Bible in their language. And this was the first device that came to them, and it was being spoken in their original language, the Samburu language, and it was too exciting for them. They had to listen to it so many times because it was the first thing they ever heard in their own language.
People got education around the fire at night. Ladies got education through their grandmothers, and young men got education through their grandfathers. There wasn't any formal setting, there wasn't any formal class, there wasn't any formal curriculum, but they ended up getting trained, they ended up learning, and they ended up utilizing what they learned.
When we met with Simon, he chose me to make the content and translate and even record into Samburu language. When first we met with Simon and Kyle, when he sold the idea to us how we can reach these people, Samburu people, with this device, at first we could not understand what was happening, how to go about it.
One of the things that we try to do with MT4 projects is we try to make sure that we are transforming people's worldview. The way we define worldview is that it's the set of stories that I use to make sense of the reality that is around me. There are three basic worldviews around the globe. There is, in the West, a guilt and innocence worldview. We describe ourselves as sinners, as those who have broken God's law, and through Jesus Christ our guilt is removed by his innocence. We were once guilty, we've now been declared innocent by our righteous judge. It's not the way the rest of the world thinks. For example, in most of the Muslim world and in Asia, it's a shame and honor worldview. They don't speak in terms of being guilty, they speak in terms of their actions being either shameful or honorable. Things that we would think are just absolutely way out of bounds, they would see as being normal because those are things that bring honor to their family and not shame. The predominant worldview in Africa is a power and weakness worldview. What makes something right is whether or not I have the power to do it. If I have the power to do it, that's fine. If you're weak and you can't stop me, that's just too bad. It's not right and wrong. It's power and weakness.
Our friends from the US did not come and tell us, this is what you need to do, but they inquired from us, they learned from us, and everything we did came as a matter of discussion and agreement between all of us. And we had to establish a university we call Thompson University, and where we take bitter lemons, a lot of bitter lemon, many cups of tea, and eat meat, goat meat together. And out of that sharing, we came up with the real content that went into the Samburu people in the device.
Interestingly enough, in Genesis 3, in the story of Adam and Eve's fall, of our first parents' fall into sin, we see all three of those worldviews represented. First of all, Adam and Eve try to hide from God. They try to cover their nakedness because they're ashamed. God is the one who makes the pronouncement of guilt on Adam, on Eve, and on the serpent. And we see in the whole situation, because it's God who is ultimately in control, that God is the one who has all the power. So all three worldviews within the story of our first parents' fall are represented. If we don't change people's worldview, and if we don't communicate the gospel in terms of either guilt and innocence, shame and honor, or power and weakness, then we've really failed to communicate the gospel fully to them.